Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. I started shooting YouTube videos regularly and uploading them every week a year ago. Last year, 2019, I think it was end of March. And I also just hit 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which blew my mind. I thought to myself, this is the perfect moment to shoot a studio tour. I'll call it Studio Tour 2020. And I will walk you through my video, my audio, and my editing process and sort of gear and whatever I use to make these videos. First thing first, video gear. I am shooting with my Panasonic Lumix G70 camera, which is not at all a super expensive or fancy camera. It costs a few €100 box, but if you're lucky, you will find one used or maybe a showroom model, just like mine is. I changed the original lens on the G70 because that was the weakest part of the whole thing. Now I'm using this Panasonic 12-35 zoom lens and it's so much better. Then my second camera is my GoPro 7 Black Edition. I don't use that a lot here in the studio, only if it's necessary, but I always use it when I'm traveling around. I want to do a vlog. I just need something that's really small. Picture quality is all right, and it goes up to 4K, which is very nice. It's not too pixely and anything. The colors are weird, so you do have to be aware of that while you're editing and color grading and everything. Then the lights. I'm using two lights, one right there, one right there, a little bit offset. Both are the same, both are soft boxes I bought for a couple of dozen euros, really not expensive, and they're magic. It's one of the most important things to have, even more important than a very expensive camera, is having proper lights. I'm using Final Cut to edit the videos. It's a very nice program, very easy to use, and what I love about it is that it creates optimized media, which means that it will not show you the 4K or full HD quality video while you're editing because the computer would freak out. It creates a less pretty, lower resolution image, and that's what you see while you're editing. So even a few years old MacBook, which mine is, it's not a brand new one at all, can still manage with all these, I don't know, 60, 70 gigabytes of data, what you have if you're shooting a longer session in 4K. So that's fantastic. Let's talk about the interesting part, audio signal chain. I will take you on a tour for that. This is where I normally sit, and right in front of me is my Sennheiser MKH416. What a romantic name, but it's a fantastic microphone. And that is what captures my voice. And even though it is like, I don't know, 3 feet away from my mouth, or at least 2.5, it sounds very direct and it's an incredible mic. It's what most film productions use. I'm really happy with that. Let's check out the guitar's signal chain. That's what counts most, I guess. This is the guitar I'm using today. With the cable I am going into my messy corner. This is the proper gear corner here. That is my board. That's what's active right now. That's my switcher, what I always use. Those pedals which I'm using are in my signal chain and the rest is out of it. That's very important. I will shoot a video on this. some other pedals which are on my board all the time. I swap them back and forth. Some nice higher gain, lower gain pedals. The Super Tremolo, I love that. The Raise the Dead fuzz, it's a very gnarly, beautiful sounding fuzz. My Nemesis delay, that one. Oh, that one's cool. That's my looper. Whenever you hear some looping going on my channel, that's what I'm using. It's a true bypass, very affordable, very reasonable, simple but awesome looper. And some wireless from Sennheiser. I love these. From my switcher, I am going straight into my Rev Dynamis 740. There you go. Now in focus. I love this amp. It has a beautiful sound. It takes pedals incredibly well. Probably the best pedal platform amp I ever played, so I stick to it. My Morgan cab, which I don't play a lot here, but I play it live all the time. That's why the marks are on the grill. That's where my Sennheiser 906 goes. And it's a fantastic 1x12 cab. It's an open back cab and it sounds like at least a 2x12. The good old aux, that's my savior. I use this all the time instead of miking the cab because it's just so much faster. It sounds exactly as good as miking a cab. And yeah, yada yada, incredible thing. Then my good old Mark III. Oh, my kiddo was playing with the EQ. Oh, damn. Yeah, whatever. I have to set it up again. That's awesome with 4 years old kids. They love old knobs. So from the aux, I have a long TRS cable that goes across the room right there into my interface. This is the HQ of my studio. Very important corner. Well, it's not a corner, it's in the middle of the room. This is where I edit everything. This is where I mix all the songs. Crazy amount of hours spent right here on this chair. All my audio signal goes right into the Audient ID44 interface. 2 channels for my guitar, 1 channel with the phantom power for the Sennheiser for my speech. And then that goes into my good old, 2014 MacBook, which is a hero. It keeps up with all the amount of data and working hours I'm putting in it. It's crazy. So I'm really proud of it. I'm using Studio One for audio editing and Final Cut for the video editing. Very important part of a studio is obviously the speaker. I am using the PreSonus Ares E5 XT, which is a 5-inch speaker pair, but the XT is the bigger housing. So you do have an incredible amount of bass and a very transparent sound. And they are very affordable too, so I can absolutely recommend them. The corner that's never in my videos, there's my beautiful bass. That's a plant and 100 gig bags behind it, and my 335, which is the only guitar I put in a case. Otherwise, I couldn't care less about cases. I just take gig bags everywhere. And my kiddo's tiny little drum set. His drums are right next to my desk, so it's really hard to focus whenever he's in the mood for some noise making. It's also important to point out that I'm using bass traps in that and in that dark corner. I'm also using a huge curtain behind the speakers because there's a window and I don't want to have reflections of crazy frequencies. It was very important for me to have some sort of an acoustic treatment in the room because it was really boomy. And I tried this on the ceiling. This is something called Basal Tact, which is some sort of a special foam for acoustic treatments, and it absorbs a lot of the frequencies and it's really thick. I also have two absorbers right behind me whenever I'm mixing, so that's what you see in the background in all my videos. That's very important to avoid reflections. Last important thing to mention are my plugins I'm using. Whenever there's a song mix, I'm using the Easy Drummer from Tune Track, I think the brand is. Oops, I'll blend it in right here. For guitar, I'm using FabFilter and Waves plugins. I love both plugins or brands basically. I use EQ and compression and limiter from FabFilter. I love those plugins. They're so easy to use. They sound fantastic. Love them. And also Waves. I'm just using something to warm the signal up a little, which is I think the Kramer tape. It's a very nice mastering tool, I guess. It just gives a little more warmth to the overall sound. And of course, the Waves Sheps Omni channel, which is a very powerful tool. It's basically a channel strip, but you can also swap the order of the little plugins built in the plugin. So you have a de-esser, you have a compressor, you have a saturation function, you have an EQ, you have a noise gate even built in, and you can decide in which order they should come, which is very handy, of course, depending on what you want to use it for. And that's pretty much it. I don't use these plugins a lot, just subtle changes. I don't want to overproduce the sound of my videos because I want you guys to hear exactly what I hear while I'm recording. I have my monitors on, I have my cab on quietly every now and then just for monitor reasons. But whatever I play, whatever sound I hear and inspires me should arrive in your headphones or monitors or in your iPhone even. Let me know in the comment section if you want to have an episode per guitar. Like if you want a full explanation of my Tele, my Les Paul, my Strat, this one, that one, or my ES335, or all my guitars. Just let me know. I'd love to shoot short videos on each and every guitar of mine and just walk you through the specs real shortly and let you hear a couple of sounds. Take care of yourselves and stay safe, and see you very soon in another video. Bye bye.